Okay, one of the biggest advantages to having a bandsaw as opposed to a chainsaw is you can get your blocks a lot rounder and a lot truer before you start turning. It doesn't really change the style that you turn very much. What it does change is your speed. You have to go a lot slower, very uneven. This one's not very well balanced, and you have to nibble off all these edges here. What I like to do, first get a flat edge going out almost all the way, and then start nibbling away these corners going towards the outside. So speed is down to 0 on this. Turn it up a little bit. You can see my light's shaking a little bit. That's just because it's an out of balance piece. So I'm going to start in the center, work my way out. Take very gentle cuts here. If you really force it, you can dig in pretty seriously. So I've got most of it off. Now what I want to start doing is nibbling from about here on out. So it's the same process. When I first started doing these, I would tend to go on the outside here. Spin by hand first, make sure that everything clears, and try to nibble off the corners by going back and forth this way. And I found out that's a lot more of a beating than you take if you just start on the edges and just kind of keep nibbling it down as you go. It's nice to have something flat and smooth before you break into the bumps. Okay, so again, a Chainsawn Blank here. I'll show you some roughing cuts with the gouge. Okay, so the main thing you're going to notice is when I start getting near these points right here, they're sticking out, I do way more pivoting this way. It just makes it easier to control the tool. So scraping cut pretty much. I tend to drop the handle more when I come out to the edge. And when I get to these bumps, that's where I start pivoting like this. Just makes it a little bit easier to control when you're hitting those wood to air spots. Keeps you from digging in too far. Cut across the bottom, just flattening it out. But just keep going. You get to the end eventually. It's just found it way easier to nibble the corners off like this than it is to try to come across the outside and nibble them down that way. I like working off of something that's flat and fairly round. It just gives me a little better feel for coming into these rather than just kind of stabbing into it blindly.